not going to belabor this too much, but I do want to put myself in some context. I was born in the late 60s, and I actually went to kindergarten when kindergarten started happening here at Harris. I never lived in a society or a school district that was segregated. I didn't know that there was a problem. I grew up with kids that didn't know there was a problem. As I grew up in the 70s, I had a lot of friends of mine that spoke Vietnamese and didn't speak English, and I went to school with them, and I didn't know why they were there. I didn't know that there was a problem. I went to Troy, and I rode in a little bus, and we rode in the Little Mexico bus. Which bus do you ride? I ride the Little Mexico bus. Well, the Little Mexico bus was off of Little Mexico Road. That was the name of the road, and it was mostly Hispanics and me and my brother. And I didn't know there was a problem with saying Little Mexico Road. And so what happens is we have a lot of kids that grow up in a society that doesn't understand the history and the significance of the things that went on to make their life possible and to make their future and their dreams possible. But my family has a legacy. Shine Street is a family, and had a circuit rider family member that was here after the Civil War that helped get the first African American congregation, and he about got lynched and had to leave the area because he stood up for what he felt was right. And so while I may not look very diverse, I do have some diverse views on occasion. I know that Martin Luther King was a very significant member of our society and has made a lasting impact on the way we see not only us as Americans, but within our culture and how we relate to each other within that culture. And I was at UT in Austin when they renamed MLK in Austin, and it was fairly controversial. And I didn't know what the big deal was, but they did rename it, and it was very prominent. I'm going to quote J.I. Packer. He wrote a theological book that's one of these kind of top theological books it's called Knowing God. And here's his quote on wisdom. Wisdom is the power to see and the inclination to choose the best and highest goal, together with the surest means of attaining it. And I think naming Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard along 2nd is probably the best and highest goal. It's through an area of town that's both prominent and has a history. And so I think that would be the best and highest goal. The surest means of attaining that sits honestly with the city staff and the city council, not with a committee, not with another group, but working with the property owners on that street to see that we can do it in a very peaceful way, that they understand why we want to do it. And so I would advocate doing the surest thing and acting on that in the future fairly, with the city staff, looking at the legalities of it, making sure we give public notice, making sure everybody who is on that road gets an opportunity to speak about it, pro or con, and that we can measure that as council members and then choose the wisest way to attain this goal. But I think we all agree the highest goal is to find a very prominent street that doesn't impact too negatively on the community and to stand behind it. So that's my 2 cents.